Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to take a look at our bins that the African Nightcrawlers are in. So we've got two systems going. We've got a Busboy bin and a 10-gallon tote. The Busboy bin had been doing much better than the 10-gallon tote, but I don't know if that's going to be the case after 31 days of letting these systems sit. And I think this one might be, I'm looking at the Busboy bin right now. I can look down and see it as I just put it right here, and it looks like it might be a little bit too dry. We're going to have to take a look, probably add some moisture to it. We're going to add some watermelon as a food source, and we're going to hopefully get this system kind of humming along again. The other system, we'll see how that's doing as well. That one was really moist. That one hopefully did not dry out. Too much, I should say. Hopefully it dried out a little bit, but not too much. And that one might be doing a little better, but we're going to see how the worms are doing in there as well. I think we saw some baby worms last time, but it's time to see if we can get these systems really working. And if not, we're probably going to add one to our urban worm bag that is doing pretty well with the African Nightcrawlers in there. As I try to consolidate a little bit, and somebody did mention I shouldn't put all my worms in one, just like they're saying, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. I shouldn't put all my worms in one bin, and I probably won't. But the African Nightcrawlers are going to be some of the hardest worms I have to keep alive over the winter, and it was really hard last winter with the heat that they need. So we'll see if we can keep it up. If not, I might be able to add the heat mats again, although that was drying it out, or I might just have to add in a whole ton of food so you get like hot composting and they can kind of pick their heat source as far as how close they want to be to it. So we'll see how it goes this winter, but for right now we need to check in these systems, see how they're doing, and see if there's still worms in there. So with that, let's take a look at our Busboy bin and see how that one is doing. All right, here we are with our ANC Busboy bin. Our last date was 8/21 here, so it is 9/21, so 31 days. Let's go ahead and take off our cover here. And actually, surprisingly, it looks pretty good in the middle here. As far as moisture, the outside is definitely dry, but nothing really that I'm seeing here on the lid or the bubble wrap here that we put on top. But the center does look okay here as far as moisture content. I was really, really worried that this would be way too dry, but it does look like it's okay. So let's just start digging in here and see what we can find. So let's dig in this corner over here, which is opposite of everything else, and see if we see any worms. And we already are finding our first worm in here, and it looks like it looks like a large one too. So that's a good sign that we're already finding one in here. And actually, there's a little baby over here too, or juvenile worm right there. It's harder to see. It's covered in castings, although they're not very moving a lot, but that's okay. There's another one that just fell out right here, and another one. So actually, this system looks like it might be okay. It might have actually retained its worm population enough to at least boost it back up. Look at that little baby. That's a juvenile right there on that mango seed shell. Let's just keep going here, see what else we can find. But yeah, these castings look really, really good too. So actually, let me push this down a little bit. That way it'll adjust a little better as far as the lighting. But look at that, we got a little baby right over here. Right there, a little baby. So it looks like this system is actually doing a lot better than expected. I was really worried about this one because when I saw the outside edges, it looked like it was really, really dried out. But you can see there's another one right here, or two on this right here, or 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. So okay, this is looking really good. I'm actually quite surprised by this and how well this system looks. Let's just go ahead and flip this over there. We got another really large one. Look at this. This is a massive African Nightcrawler right here. I wasn't expecting to find these in my system anymore, but I think that they tend to shrink down when they're in a system like this that's as small compared to where they probably were raised. But it looks like there's another juvenile right there. We're getting lots of juvenile worms in here. That's a good sign. They probably definitely need food in here. It looks like there's very little cardboard left. Maybe a little bit of paper, but not much food left in here. And these castings look phenomenal. I mean, they really do. And they just flake apart. More worms though. I mean, like this is actually looking a lot better than I expected. Which just shows sometimes, leaving your worms alone for long periods of time can be a great thing. As I said though, these castings look phenomenal. More worms. More. There's some more over here even. I'm not going to dig through this entire thing since we're going through two systems, or we're trying to see. This one looks like it's doing really well, surprisingly. well, we're going to put this mango seed over here now. As I said, though, this corner over here is a little dry. Let's just see if there's anything over here, though. Look at that, there's still worms in this corner. You know, it's moist. There's enough moisture down there at the bottom. It's just dry on top. There's a couple worms, a couple more worms right here. What's interesting is some of these are really different colors. Some of them are really, really dark, and some of them are lighter. I don't know if there's a difference, but like this one right here is pretty dark. And there was another one down here that was younger that was more of a pinkish color. But overall, these castings look great. Here we go. Here's one that's a much lighter color. Still looks like an African Nightcrawler, but it's just a different shade of color on it. So let's just see here. Okay, so this system's actually doing really, really well. I'm glad to see that. I was really worried that it would be too dry and, you know, these worms would just be dying off like crazy, but they look like they are thriving in here. So we're going to add some food, mixture of food, I should say. We're also adding cardboard, which is a food source that they seem to really like. But we're going to add, I have some watermelon that's cold but not frozen. It should be bug-free because it's been in my refrigerator. I was eating it, but it, you know, went bad when I had COVID. It just sort of sat in there with nobody else was eating it. And, you know, so now we're going to add it back in here and get this system going again. There's a lot of castings in here. I'm going to have to empty this thing out soon or split it. So maybe this is definitely the one that we're going to keep going no matter what. The other one, we'll see if it's the case where we want to keep it going or if we want to maybe mix it up a little bit with the other system. So first off, and actually we might be able to split this one and maybe making a second system after this winter. I don't think I want to do it during the winter. So we're going to throw in quite a bit of cardboard in here. And now we're going to throw in some watermelon. As I said, I've got watermelon right here that I need to throw in. You know what? I'm going to put this in with my, we'll reach in here with my gloves. This is my nice containers for my kitchen. I normally don't reach in with my gloves in here, but I'm only going to touch the watermelon. Be really careful about not touching anything else. But we're going to put in quite a bit of watermelon in here because they need some food. This is a great microbial source of food. Lots of water too. It's going to help add moisture to the system. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to pour the majority of this in here. And the reason why is the other system is not going to need nearly as much, probably. So in this way, this shrinks down a lot. Just get some of the water off the lid there. This is going to shrink down a lot, this watermelon. I mean, it's primarily water, 98% water, I think. So you're not going to get a lot of, what was I going to say? It's not a lot of material as much as it is just really water. So we're going to go ahead and put that in like that. We're going to go ahead and cover this up really well to try to prevent bugs from getting in there. Just like that. And look at that. That looks good. This is going to shrink down a whole lot. So I'm going to stack up really high on this side over here. I'm not going to add any moisture to the system. I also did not add any of my crushed crab and eggshell. I don't expect that they will need it. I do see lots of little bits kind of floating on top here, although, you know, sometimes it's good to add it almost every time I typically do, but I've been cutting back a little bit just because I don't feel it's quite as necessary. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this out. I'm going to put my label right here. We're going to go ahead and peel off these labels over here. I don't think we need them anymore. There we go. We'll keep this one right here to show that we did, it was 1 month in between. And we're going to put our cover back on here. And we're going to place this back on the shelf. So there we go. Our cover's back on. This can go back on the shelf. And let's go take a look at our 10-gallon tote and see how that's doing. All right, here is the 10-gallon tote. I already added the date on there, so 31 days. And by the way, we started this, you know, in December of last year, so we're almost at that perfect 9-month mark. So with that, let's go ahead and open this up. Let's flip the lid over. It's a little dry on this lid. Not seeing any mites or anything on here. I really thought it would be a little bit more wet, considering the fact that we have quite a bit of moisture in here. Now, this system has been a little bit more, let me just zoom in just a little bit here. A little bit worse for wear. I mean, it seems like it's really like a good moisture content, but it just doesn't seem like the worms are really taking to this material, or maybe they like something a little different. Well, let's just go ahead and start digging in here and see if we find anything. It's definitely enough moisture in here. And we found our first worm right there. So overall, we at least have worms in here. Let's just see what we can find, though. Oh, there's another one that just fell, and then another one right there. There's one right over here that fell into the mix down below. It's amazing. I don't really see many... So here's the one that fell down below. Again, they're not really moving all that much. We have had some cooler weather, but still, it's been pretty warm. But you know, there is no composting heat in here, as I haven't added food in a while. So there we go. We had found a couple worms over there. That's a good sign, at least, that there's something in here. And we got another worm right here in the center. Oh, we got another couple that just fell out right here. Or maybe that's one worm. One long worm right there. I thought it was two. So let's move this one over here as well. See, there we go. We've got our worms in here. So they are still in here, but as you can see, there's plenty of food. Oh, there we go. There's one of our really large ones, and actually there's another one in the back here, right over here. So there are a couple worms in here, which is a great sign. Hopefully they're multiplying. I mean, this material looks great for them. I mean, like, they really do like the cardboard. I know that's all I fed them when I first got them, was just cardboard. As I said, the material might be a little bit too moist for them. They seem to like it more on the drier side from what I can tell. But you can see there's castings mixed all through here. Let's just keep going here. I'm not seeing any food. I'm pretty sure I did feed them as well, as I didn't want to leave them out of the feedings. Oh, there's another one, another baby right here, and another one over here. This one is moving nice and fast there. Look at that. So that's a good sign that we're finding some of these other worms in here. There's a couple of them over here. We've got a lot of juveniles, it looks like, which is a good sign. It means that the older worms are multiplying, and hopefully we'll have a new generation in here at some point. Although I still don't know whether I should just add this to the urban worm bag that I have that I've been going with. And, you know, I think I just saw one of them fall over. You know, just add this to the urban worm bag just to try to build up the population in there. Nice big system. I can add a ton of food to it, kind of heat it up. You know, have the hot composting sort of going in there with the food and mix of that and cardboard. And that way they can make a determination during the winter of where they want to be. This system really struggled over the winter, along with the Busboy bin. Even though I had them on heated mats and everything, it just, the population just plummeted overnight, it felt like. And as you can see, I'm still trying to recover it. And even though we're through the summer, I mean, it's already September 21st, so we're really done with summer, and we're going back into the fall, and I'm hoping that they don't collapse again on me. I knew that these worms would be troublesome for me because of the cold weather here and the fact that they're in my basement, but overall, though, this looks like it is recovering as well. We're seeing more worms in here. At one point, I think we were down to about like 5 worms. And there was definitely more than 5. There's probably around 20 or 30 worms in here, which is a great sign. Again, we are going to add some food to this. And I'm still debating whether to add it. Maybe in like another month, we'll add it to the urban worm bag, as I'm just worried about this long term, what's going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and dig right here in the center section. And we're going to dump the last of that watermelon in. Now, I am going to put in a little bit of paper because this is very, very wet material, and I don't want to add too much moisture to the system, so we're going to add in a little bit of paper that can absorb some of the moisture that this is going to put in. So there we go. And now let me grab our container and dump in what is left of our watermelon here. There we go. These are big chunks too, so we can break those apart a little bit here. These are going to break down quickly though. As I said, this is primarily water. And it's sugar water, which means that it's going to be really, really good for getting the microbes going in here because they love sugar. So there we go. We've got that in there. I'm going to add a little bit more paper, I think, on top. Just a handful. Again, I'm not adding any crushed crab or eggshell. I just don't think that they're going to need the grit for this. Now, I'm going to spray my gloves down because they have quite a bit of watermelon juice on them. I don't want this to be the next thing that the fruit flies are attracted to, or fungus gnats or anything, so I'm just going to spray those off. Adding a little bit of moisture, but not too much. And now we're going to go ahead and cover this up really well, just as we did in the other system. And we did a big center feeding here, but hopefully they will move down. And to go after this, we're going to go ahead and move a whole bunch of material right on top here. Make sure we bury it nicely. Level out those corners just a little bit. But there we go. We've got a nice covering on here. We know that we fed. And we're going to go ahead and cover this back up and call it a day for these systems. Now, as I said, this system right here, I think I might have to get rid of this and move this into my urban worm bag. I don't think it's going to last over the winter for a second year in a row. It really struggled over the winter. It never really got going, as you can see from the dates here. It never really fully got going, and it just lingered all summer. So with that, I think we're going to probably move this into the other system, but we'll do that at a later date. So with that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or concerns or thoughts on my systems and what to do with these African nightcrawlers during the winter here in a state that gets some cold air in Maryland, let me know in the comments and let me know what you think. All right, thank you for watching.